Hello guys and welcome to the channel, it's Erad, and so 2023 is about to finish and I thought the time had come to have a look at some of the achievements, or at least the good things that were brought to Star Citizen this year, and I made a list of 5 here that I think we ought to remember. And my number 1 here for 2023 is that we finally have a new viable profession, and that is salvaging. Now the devs spend a lot of time perfectioning, finishing, polishing the mining profession, but then with that work, that experience, they eventually created the salvage profession with the introduction of the Vulture, which we already had for quite some time, but especially recently, the Reclaimer is now also a possible alternative when it comes to having some industrial type of gameplay. And also, salvage now is fully functional, meaning that you can fully get the materials from a ship, make a ship completely disappear from the game, and that was the whole point, especially when it's very easy to get a lot of wrecks around the verse. Well, you can just bring in here salvage vehicles, get rid of those wrecks, and it's cleaning up the verse. It's fantastic. Also, you can make quite a bit of money right now with salvaging, especially with RMC, which is now worth 2 times what it used to be, but it's also more difficult than just getting the construction material, which is what you're getting from the main core of the ship. So you just scrape the surface of the ship, you get the RMC, and then you get the rest, the structure of the ship, and you get the construction material, and then those ships disappeared. It's actually great gameplay loop that you can do with friends or alone, and that can be quite lucrative. Also, the number 2 here is that we are getting more content for players, and especially this has been thanks to the work done by Elliot Malby, who's created a lot of missions for players, missions in bunkers, missions for FPS combat, investigation missions also have appeared as well, missions for salvaging as well have also appeared, and overall it's a bit less repetitive to play Star Citizen, especially when you're a solo, because you can just really skip from one activity to another with all of that extra content that was done. So that's really good here. Number 3, I think that Star Citizen looks so much better this year than it used to in previous years, and also performance is so much better, and that is thanks to the Gen 12 renderer, which has really optimized the way that graphics are now handled in the game, which also allows for more detail and more fidelity. And that is just one first step. The next step is, of course, going with Vulcan, which we are going to have further along the line, and it's going to be allowing the game to display all of those beautiful improvements that we saw in the Star Engine demo at the latest CitizenCon. But overall, I think that thanks to these improvements that we've already had, frame drapes, when the servers are working quite fine, frame drapes have also improved quite a bit. For example, one place that used to be quite unplayable for me in the past, or barely playable and not enjoyable at all, was Horizon, with lower frames compared to other landing zones that used to be in the 15 to 20 frames per second on my PC. Now it's much better. I'm easily getting 30, 40, sometimes even 45 frames per second at Horizon, and I think that the Gen 12 renderer has really shown some tremendous benefits here. Next, after that, number 4, that would be about Arena Commander. It's not technically Star Citizen, although it's part of the Star Citizen experience, and I really enjoy Arena Commander now. And I can see that I'm not the only one, because every time I play Arena Commander, I see far more people than I used to before. Sometimes in the past, very often actually, Arena Commander was quite empty, it was difficult to find some games. Now it's not the case anymore. Every time I hop in, I always have some people to play with and hop in, and I think the reason is because a lot of content was added to Arena Commander as well. Of course, people are trying the master modes, which is how Star Citizen will be flown in the future in your ship, but not just that. If you are into FPS gameplay, a lot of new modes have been added, like Gun Rush, for example, which is really a lot of fun, and especially a lot of new maps and features were added as well. Now there are some maps which allow you to have multiple spawn points, which is absolutely fantastic, because maybe one spawn point has people who are spawn killing, or it's a little bit too much of a hotspot, so you want to do the other one and maybe try to get some tactical advantage over the other team. That's great. Also, this allows you to do multi-crew as well in space, which is something that we could not do in the past. Now you can get a hammerhead and have people in your team, when you do squadron battle, for example, in your team crewing that hammerhead, and that is also quite new and exciting. Also, as I said, a lot of new maps were added, which adds for more diversity. In the past, when you were playing in Arena Commander, those FPS maps, they were always the same. It's not the case anymore. Now you have new maps on some of the new derelict settlements that were added in 3.22, and they are quite fantastic. Last but not least, I think that one of the big achievements of 2023 is that persistence now finally works properly. We no longer have those big bugs or those big inventory bugs that were doing a lot of 30Ks and were basically plaguing the experience like we had at the beginning of 2022. Now it's actually quite rare to have that many 30Ks, although I had a lot yesterday, but yeah, that was usually not the norm. You can have really long sessions with a lot of entities still remaining from previous activity, like for example the jump down boxes or even those damn medical gans that we see everywhere. It's still not crashing the servers, or not as badly as it used to be. And that is really laying the foundation for future work where persistence is going to be really important, like replication layer, which is being tested right now in the preview channel. So there we have it, guys. These are my 5 points here that I really brought some positivity, some improvements to Star Citizen. Let me know in the comment section down below as well. What is your top 5 for new improvements and new features in Star Citizen in 2023? I would love to read those, guys. It's the last chance to win a Duo of Storms. All you have to do is to be a Patreon or YouTube member, or you can also join our video sharing program on Discord. Just enter your name like this if you are a Patreon or YouTube member to be in. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much to Deplorable, Infidel, Zero Crusher, Dr. Forbid, and Doki2Docker. I have been Irad. I'll see you guys in the next one.